Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Holy Trinity Church. My name is Gordon Blue, and this is Juneau, Alaska. Thank you for joining us for morning prayer on this 14th Sunday after the Pentecost. We bid you welcome. The 13th week, that watershed of the season, is past, but its effects are continuing, and they will remain for times to come. What a long, strange week it was, a week of collapse and catastrophe and suffering. Need we count the ways? Pandemic, firestorm, drought, flooding, hurricane, earthquake, and 2 Trojan wars long lost. Oh, woe, Lord. It all cries out for peace, but internal strife and hatred has intensified. Hear the words of the Venerable James, dear ones. Hear him. You must understand this, my beloved. Let everyone be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. For your anger does not produce God's righteousness. Having heard, what are we to do? Be doers of the word and not merely hearers who deceive themselves. Care for orphans and widows in their distress, and keep oneself unstained by the world. We lift our eyes to the hills. From where is our help to come? As always, our help is from the Lord. There is help in the gospel, the living word. Today, a reading from Mark is appointed. It is the beginning of the 7th chapter. The stir that resulted from Jesus' teaching and ministering in Galilee reached Jerusalem on winds of rumor and brought officials down to investigate. They gathered around him, and they were ready to find fault. And that came quickly. When they noticed that some of his disciples were eating with defiled hands, that is, without washing them. And they asked, "Why do your disciples not live according to the tradition of the elders?" Now these were acknowledged experts on Scripture, and they were speaking to country fishermen. But Jesus was not willing to be scolded by them. He said, "Isaiah prophesied rightly about you. This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching human precepts as doctrines. You abandon the commandment of God and hold to human tradition." And now I wonder, what is the gospel saying to us today? Clearly, this is not about the mechanics of the transmission of the coronavirus. It's not about the wisdom of hand washing or the sanitation of surfaces to mitigate infection. Mark notes some of his disciples were eating with defiled hands. And the experts ask, "Why aren't you living according to the tradition?" And then Jesus says, "You abandon God and keep your own tradition." What? What is Jesus saying to us today? What is Jesus telling us when he leans forward and says, "Listen to me, all of you, and understand. There is nothing outside a person that by going in can defile, but the things that come out are what defile." The lectionary skips a few verses here. That's too bad, I think. A translator's note says, Jesus indulges a touch of earthly humor regarding eating and resulting bodily functions. Along with that rare bit of wit, Jesus makes clear to his disciples that he is speaking of the heart, not of the stomach. When he says, it is the things that come out of a person that defile. Jesus, in just a few words and with humor, has brought us from the trivial to the profound, from the washing of hands before eating to an examination of the motivations of the heart, from making a superficial social display to the difficult depths of self-examination. And the living word brings us from a time so remote that we can scarcely appreciate its humor to today. Today, we are called to something new, to heal a whole world gone off the rails in a brand new way, with wisdom and love brought from the ages upon ages. You must understand this, my beloved. Your anger does not produce God's righteousness. Be doers of the word. It is from within, from the human heart, that evil intentions come. Keep yourselves from staining the world. Care for the orphans and widows in their distress. Care for the mother of life, the cradle, the earth, and the only home of incarnation. Jesus, we honor you with our lips, but our hearts are far from you. In vain do we worship the Christ when we teach human precepts as doctrines. Lord, who may abide upon your holy hill? Whoever speaks the word from her heart.